Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, big welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode of the Great Guts Adventure. I am carding up MellyKnits Great Guts Adventure. There's day 1 through 12 of these videos is my goal. So far I have been consistent. We are now on day 9. I'm a day behind, so you'll be seeing this day 10, but it is day 9. So, you guys, I know what it is, and let me tell you. Okay, be excited and scared all at the same time. I did not watch Melissa's lore for, so she does the Great Guts, or not Great Guts Adventure, the Advent lore every year. And I did not watch her lore for day 9 yet, and I really wish I had, but then I also am okay with not. You'll understand in a minute why, but because I could get tips as to how to blend this, but there's, let's like really jump off the cliff on this adventure and do this without any idea when it comes to description or tips from her. So without further ado, let me tell you what our day 9 consists of. So the Great Guts Adventure has Tunis from Copper Creek Farm out of Georgia. And here is that beautiful Tunis, all floofy. And I did save a little of it. So as you can see, Tunis is nice and fluffy already. It's a super tight crimp. And it's a really interesting breed. Really beautiful. It has a bit, kind of a reddish hue to it a little bit. They're known for having that like reddish brown hue, so it's very subtle. It's kind of looks creamy, but that's what they're known for. And then our mix-in, and I kept saying this as soon as I read it. I kept saying it. You'll understand why in a minute. Okay, so the mix-in for today is 5 grams of. Are you prepared for this? This is a Great Guts Adventure, so it's an adventure, all right. Possum. 5 grams of possum from Lenah Game Meats, Australia. So this came all the way from Australia. And yes, possum. You heard that right. You're now reading that right. Possum. And I kept saying it every single time. Every single time I was opening this up, I just kept thinking, possum. Okay, so I need to show you guys this so you can fully appreciate. Because one, I've never worked with possum before, because that's super unique and, as Melissa would say, weird. But, I mean, we had bison down, which is one thing, but possum is like next level down. It's teeny tiny, for one thing. And it's light as a feather. Possum. Possum. I'm going to keep saying that. Possum. And my hope, and I know I'll fail at this because everything that's bigger than this and fluffy got everywhere. So I feel like this is going to get everywhere. It's probably going to be in my hair. It'll be on my clothes. It'll be on the floor. Definitely the drum carter. And my dogs will probably be running around with it on them too. So hilarious. Thank you, Melissa, if you watch this. I don't think she's going to watch it, but if she does watch it, thank you. Hilarious. A challenge. A good challenge. Let me tell you, I am analyzing how I'm going to do this. So it's fun because I literally discovered this just moments before speaking with you guys. So we're going to learn together. So first, let's do what we always do. We're going to open up our locks. So all I'm doing with this is I'm just going to town on this. I'm going to do it a little slower for you for a minute, but I don't normally just grab a single lock. I kind of go aggressive with it. But again, I kind of you can go from the tip, but these tips are kind of compacted together a little bit. It's just because they, after it's washed, they dry. But I just I pull it apart. I go sideways. I don't know if that would be recommended or not, but that's the way I do it. And I've done that with Tunis in the past, and it was fine. All good. if you did do my Multifarious Nature Advent, I have Tunis in mine, in my Advent as well. So that's kind of fun that we had similar leanings here. Different breeder, it's from a different place, but yes. So we're gonna open this up. There's another little second cut. When you're opening it up sideways like this, you can find second cuts pretty easy. There are a couple in here, nothing crazy. No crazy veggie matter, just a touch. Like, a pretty darn clean fleece actually overall. And the second cuts can hide in this kind of fleece really easily, but if you just, when you're opening it, then it becomes really obvious. There'll be these little balls of compacted fiber that are second cuts. So they do show their little face pretty easily. So again, I'm just going to keep on opening it up like this. As I said, I'm pretty aggressive about it. It can take it. It'll be fine. And I'll put this on my drum carder really, really slow though. Okay, so this I think is a second cut. Yeah, it is. There's some second cuts, just so you can see what they look like. Teeny tiny. And keep going here. That's good. And our last chunk here of the Tunis. Out. And almost there. I see any teeny tiny bits I want to pull out. That. Right, that looks really good. Okay, so plan of attack. I'm going to kind of like noodle over this here with you guys because, Possum. And I wasn't thinking like it was going to be Possum. So I know she's done Possum in other Advents in the past. I don't know why. I didn't think she would throw it in there, but she did, and she's wild, and that's fun, and I love it. But, I signed up for it. I totally did. The Great Guts Adventure. And she's totally delivering, by the way. So really got my money's worth, let me tell you. It's worth it. Okay. So I was going to put this on really thin. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think I will start with a thin layer of this. And then I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this down thin, put a little bit of Possum, and then sandwich it kind of. I'm not... I question that because, again, I don't want to put too much. This board goes up and down on my drum carder. And I think what I'm going to do is lower it down a little bit. So normally I have it like this. So the brush here, liquor in, really goes like right up against it. But if I push it down a little bit or lift it from here so it goes down lower, it widens this area here. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to widen that area a little bit so that when I put this through with the Possum and another layer on here, it should hopefully not just get smashed onto here. It'll pull it up onto here. That's my hope. That's my first thought. We'll try it. We'll see what it looks like. If it looks horrific and scary, we'll adjust. We'll adjust. But let's start first with our first pass. I'll do my regular where it's very close to the liquor in. And we're going to do a thin layer of our Tunis. And then we're going to do some sandwiching. So let's first put that thin layer on. Nice and slow. And then we'll start with the Possum. Possum. It's I just kept saying that. I'm like, Possum. I knew it could be a possibility. I know she's worked with it in the past. I don't know. I just didn't think Possum. I guess I didn't. My mind didn't go there. It did not think Possum. So, that's a adventure right there. Okay, so that's very little of the Tunis on there. And the reason I don't want to directly put Possum on this drum carder is I just know it won't come off because it's so fine and fluffy and tiny. So I really want to make sure I have a good layer of the Tunis before I put more Possum. But, there's a little bit on there. There's a little bit. I'm just going to put just a touch more of our Tunis. And hopefully that will This is barely moving. I think I'm going to go faster than that. This barrel is pretty heavy, so because it's all wood. So I really want to make sure I have a little momentum, because otherwise when it's pulling it all, it barely turns. So I got to make sure it has enough torque to get it moving. All right, moment of truth. So we're going to lower this just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And we're gonna start sandwiching. We're gonna start sandwiching our Tunis and then Possum. Tunis. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I hope it's not a mess. The good news is you can keep running it through the drum carder, but it's just that initial pass. You don't want to get a bunch of that stuck on the liquor end, because trying to get that off of it probably be not so much fun, is my guess. But I am grateful I have 120 TPI. I think I said 18 inches on this the other day. I do not know where my head was. This is a 12-inch drum. It's not 18 inches. I don't know. I think that's what I would like to have. I think that's why I said it. Okay, so here's my first little layer. And here is our possum. And we're just gonna, I don't even look at that. It's so fine. It's so fine and tiny, and like I don't even know how to approach this, honestly. But we're just doing this. We'll see what happens. And if it turns into a crazy mess, so be it. But we're going for it. We're fully embracing the Great Guts adventure. Okay, so let's put another thin layer of our Tunis. And this massive sandwich, which is now seems just massive, we're going to feed that in. And I'm going to really give it some room here. We're going to give it some serious room, because I really want this to hopefully get on the drum carder and not get all on the liquor end. Okay, some of the possum is on there. It's on there. It's working. I cannot believe it's working. It's working. Okay, some of the possum did get stuck on here, but it's kind of working, you guys. It's kind of sort of working. Not mad about this. There's very little that, there's a little that got on the liquor end, but most of it got up on here. Crazy. Okay, cool. So we've got possum on the drum, and a little bit on the liquor end, of course, because that just makes sense. There is some on there. So that method seems to work. I think it worked. Okay, let's try that again. I think we're going to go with that again. So again, a thin layer of the Tunis. I do the sandwich again, because that seemed to help. Having a little sandwich effect. I know Melissa has mentioned this kind of method before, and maybe she did in this day's video as well. I will hopefully be able to watch it this evening, but just life is lifing. We got a lot going on, and I just haven't been able to keep up. I really enjoyed on the weekend actually watching it though live, because that's a lot of fun. Just being able to chat with everybody, and you can talk to the shepherds. A lot of the shepherds go on her live, which is really cool, and pick their brain. And I mean, they're like absolute wealth of knowledge as well as Melissa. So that's just really fun. Okay, now we're going to take a tiny bit of our Tunis here, spread it out, and kind of sort of get it on here. Okay, let's see if it works again. Are you guys holding your breath? I'm holding my breath a little bit. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. pulling it. It's pulling it. Oh my gosh, it's working. It's working. So yeah, a little bit of that possum. I figured that was going to happen because see how it's just so downy and fine and teeny tiny. It just goes everywhere. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh gosh, this is crazy. In the best way. It's crazy in the best way. Okay. I mean, it's possum. We get these critters in our yard, so I never worked with it before, but this is interesting. Okay, let's do another possum pass. Some more possum in there. Oh my gosh. I didn't weigh it. I'm assuming it's 5 grams, but maybe she gave me more than that. I'm assuming it's 5 grams. It's light and fluffy. It's teeny tiny. But I'm gonna use it all, whether I'm supposed to or not. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna put it in there and pray that it stays in there. Right? And then get our nice little layer of Tunis on top. Tunis sandwich. Go. Let's go for it. Goes. It's going. It's going. Oh my gosh. I do. I keep finding I'm holding my breath every single time I start feeding it in there. I'm just, ooh. Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be good? You guys are learning with me on this, and if this totally becomes a disaster and an absolute mess, you'll witness it. I don't edit these videos. You know, I don't. So, if you've been an avid follower, you know that I do not edit my videos, and every mess up, flop, goofy moment is totally captured. So if this ends up being wild and crazy, so be it. Okay. It's working. Now, the one slight issue that I see possibly happening is that, and I might do something crazy here for a second. I don't have a lot more Tunis, and I feel like I have a ton more possum. So I think what I'm going to do, which this could be a big mistake, but why not? You know, why not? I'm going to feed this directly to the drum carter. You did hear me right. That is probably a bad idea. But, you know, it might be okay. Now, I do have another idea. So I was sandwiching. Let's try something crazy. So I'm going to make a layer of possum, and then I'm going to put a little Tunis on top of it. But I'm not putting Tunis on the bottom. And now hear me out. Because, oh my gosh, see, it's so light and fluffy, it's going everywhere. So my reasoning is that this is going to get pulled on the liquor in. This should get right onto the drum carter, and this should hopefully keep this from going onto the liquor in. Is that going to work? I don't know. Does it seem to sort of possibly maybe a little bit make sense to me? Yes. But does that mean it's going to work that way? We shall see. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going for it, you guys. Oh boy. Again, holding my breath. Holding my breath. Now the scary part is that I see, okay, there's some possum going on. I was like, I see the Tunis getting pulled on, but I didn't see the possum, which makes me wonder if it went underneath the drum carter. So I am going to turn this drum carter off in a second and look underneath it, because I don't know if some of it kind of got stuck underneath it, like dropped off as it got to the end. So we're going to check that here. really quick. All right, so we're going to stop that for a second, and I'm just going to lift this heavy beast. It's heavy, it's not light. So there's a little bit of a pile of stuff, but honestly, under the pile of stuff, which is a lot of debris, this is the only possum that got dropped, so that's not bad. That's not bad, grand scheme. Not bad at all. So I'm going to try that again. I felt like that was more successful. I could be wrong, but it felt a little bit more successful. So this is the last of the possum, and I'm getting down on my Tunis. So I think I'm going to divide this in half, and then we'll get our down. Possum down, this little bitty fluffy stuff that if you breathe too hard near it, it goes everywhere. You really don't have to breathe that hard. It's just like sneeze, and oh, if I sneeze, that would be such a disaster right now. Because this stuff is just so light, you barely feel it. Okay, let's get that Tunis opened up. We're going to put that on there. And just a little bit more Tunis. Spread that out. Covering over that. There we go. Okay, that feels pretty good. Let's do it. Feed it in. And go for it. Terrified. I'm not as scared now that it's starting to go on the dog garner. I mean, there's a lot of it getting stuck on the liquor in, but less than I thought. I thought like the whole thing was going to get stuck on there. I'm not even going to pretend that I didn't think that. I really did. I was a little bit afraid. A little bit afraid. Oh, there's a bunch right there. Oh, there's a bunch. But it's so little and fine. It just kind of... If I had this going at a rapid rate, I feel like that possum would just literally be flying everywhere. I remember Melissa talking about something like that. It's like flying everywhere. You can see it. It's flying everywhere. Okay. We're going to get that last bit of possum on here. There's the last of it. The last of the possum fluff. And then we will probably have to put this through like 3, 4, like, I feel like it's like the bison all over again. Except I don't know why this scares me more, but it feels like a lot like the bison. It really does. It's very similar, very fluffy, very light, very tiny, and it just wants to get all over the place, but not where you want it. Okay. All right, we're gonna get this last bit on there, and then we'll put the last of the Tunis, and then take it off. So this is probably going to be a longer episode. Last episode was really short, comparatively. I think it was 25 minutes, and the rest have been more like 40. Apparently, I can really gab on this. Honestly, it's because I'm doing this like this, nice and slow, taking my time, and that really does take time. It's hard to find things to say other than just explaining what I'm up to, because I'm not used to talking that long about one thing without some conversation going on. Okay. So if you guys stick with me through these videos, thank you. That is amazing, and I really appreciate that. All right. So that is it. Before I do anything else, though, I'm going to lift this again and just check if any of the possum fell through. It did not. I wanted to make sure that I got all the possum on. Oops, I want to make sure I'm still going nice and slow. There you go. I wanted to make sure that I got all the possum on before I started the last bit of Tunis, because I want to seal basically everything together with that last bit of Tunis. So lovely. So again, nice and thin. Nice and thin. It's so bouncy. It's sticky. It likes to stick to the pieces of itself. end of our Tunis now. This is the last of it. This should be the last pass of the Tunis, and then we'll take it off and see where we're at. But I can definitely tell you we'll probably have to do at a minimum 3 passes, probably more than that, but you never know. The first pass is always the most horrific. Like, it's going to look the craziest. It's just going to be interesting. So we'll take this off after this last bit and see where we're at. I'm going to speed up just a little bit. That is dangerous, I realize. But the reason I'm doing that is because the string carder is getting so compacted that trying to continue rotating and pulling onto it needs a little more oomph to do that. So, yeah, we are there, guys. I think that's the last of it. That's it. So I'm going to get to a good spot. Right there is nice. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. We have a nice layer of that Tunis on the outside. We have a thin, but good, layer of it on the bottom. So as we take this off, this should be interesting. The goal is to try to get all that little bitty possum out. Because, yeah, that's going to be a bear to get out otherwise. So, continue through this. Use my handy little tool here. You're just joining me. This is like a tool for, I think it's like loom knitting. They're little looms. And they're really inexpensive. I've got a ton of them because I got them from an aunt. She does a lot of crocheting and things like that and knitting, and she has all kinds of fun stuff. But this is definitely, there's a little chunk of the possum. Dang it, it got past it. Got past it, you guys. So there's a rogue piece of possum here, which should be fine. I just don't want it to go flying everywhere. It's not the end of the world, but it's going to be a bear to clean up because it just is so little. It's so fine. Oh, okay. Set Tunis there. Continue lifting here. It's always the outer edges too that you kind of have to work out a little bit because usually most of your fiber is going to stay kind of toward your center. And if you get that really fine mix-in on the edge, that's where it can become a bit of a pain to get it pulled up onto your bat. I'm trying to get down under these little teeny bits of Tunis that got kind of compacted way down to the bottom. Alright. Getting there. Getting there. Out. And voila. Alright. So there's the first pass of possum. You know, it looks a lot better than I thought. I definitely want to do some passes to get that combined, but that is not as scary. So there's that little lone bit that was on the side that I just kind of stuck on here. So I'm going to carefully, hopefully not throw a possum everywhere. I really hope that that Tunis is going to just hold on to it. Seems to be. So we're going to do our splitting this into quarters like the usual. And I'm really impressed by how well the Tunis is grabbing it. And you know what? That is what I mentioned. So I don't know if you guys heard me earlier, but I mentioned that Tunis likes to just grab onto itself. Like when I was putting it onto the carder, and if I want to spread it further, it like grabbed onto the chunk ahead of it. So that's actually a really great thing right now because that possum is like nothing, right? There's nothing to it. And you want it to grab it. So Tunis is grabbing it and holding on to it. I'm actually kind of impressed by this at the moment. This is kind of cool. Okay. So the hard part is Tunis is very, like, springy. That's what I'm looking for, springy. And so it's definitely trying to spring back on itself, but I'm excited. So I turn this up a little bit. We're going to feed it in. And I think the part I'm most excited about is that it intimidated me a bit. And I'm not fully unintimidated at the moment. But I'm also not exactly terrified as I was earlier. Terrified is not the right word. But, you know, kind of. And I'm pretty impressed. Okay, so this is definitely causing a bit of a mess at the moment, but that's learning curve. We're getting there. Each pass should hopefully be better than the first. I hope. We might have to do like 4 or 5 passes on this to get it, you know, semi-cohesive. That might have to happen. That's possible. But we're gonna see where we're at here. Now we're going to feed that on. This is going to be interesting. Wish I could spread this out further. It just wants to spring back on itself so much that spreading it out is just not, it's not very happy doing that. But I'm actually pretty impressed by how well this possum is staying. Now, some of it definitely you can see is getting grabbed up onto the wicker end, but a lot of it is actually staying where I want it, which is interesting. I mean, I was hoping that would be the case. It's like that Tunis is doing, it's grabbing it. I'm also creating static by doing what I'm doing right now. No friction. Okay. Now we got 2 more chunks, and then we're going to do another pass. For sure going to do another pass. And possibly another. We're just going to keep going. Will it become totally cohesive? I mean, maybe. In my head, I feel like it won't. But if it could, that'd be cool. But I just kind of don't think it will. Because it's so darn fluffy and the fibers are so little and then big. And I don't know. I have never blended anything like this before, you guys, so this is definitely interesting. I've always worked with fibers that were either like semi-similar in length and even if they're not the exact same length, but you know, like similar, like cousins or something. And they always, I don't know, they just always seem to it just kind of worked. But, you know, this is definitely branching. This is branching. And I'm really into it. It's fascinating. I'm really excited to spin it. I've never spun possum before, but I want to create a nice prep. So I don't want like little chunks of possum all over the place. I'd like it to be a little bit more blended. But I don't know, maybe that's not the way. Maybe it's gonna always be a little chunky, but I feel like that's not the case. I'm gonna grab this stuff. I had cleaned this before, so like this I know is all possum. Like anything colorful in here is possum. Trying to like dig it out so that I can get it on here. Because this is just gonna get everywhere. Awesome. Last one. And then we'll take it out. The next pass. And we're just gonna keep on going until we're happy with it. And this is definitely going to be a multiple pass situation. For sure. Has anybody else worked with possum? Have you? Because I feel like that's not a common additive. with spinning. Because I mean, the only person, now I'm relatively new to spinning, but I feel like the only person I've heard go on and on about spinning possum is Melissa. So is this like a common mix-in? I don't think it is. I really don't think it is, because like I said, she got this from Australia, so like I don't think this is a common mix-in, which is fun to do something really unique. Okay. Slow this up. Find our opening. There it is. Alright, let's see how the second pass looks. It seems similar to the first, but not quite as horrific. It's getting there. It's getting more blended. Remember, this is a 120 TPI, and this is 90 TPI, so I do have a decent carding cloth for blending, so that does affect that. So if you have like a smaller TPI, this might take you longer. And I'm assuming if you keep going, you'll eventually get kind of sort of there, but it does really help if you have a higher TPI. It really helps you get that blend in. Okay. It's getting there. I mean, the Tunis, just like I said, it wants to hold on to itself here, so it's coming off nicely. Yeah, that's been really good. Really coming off nicely. But the possum. Now the possum is definitely in there now. I mean, it's not consistent. You can definitely see that, where you've got like almost this camo look to it. I'm sure you guys can see that. See how it kind of looks like camo? Kind of like a little bit of browns, a little grays throughout. So let's do another pass and see where it gets us. It definitely is getting more distributed through all the wool, that's for sure. Okay. So I'm just trying to get this as thin and as wide as possible. But it's not easy because, as I mentioned, it wants to spring back on itself. Alright, that's not bad. One more possum in there. A little possum, let's just pocket it in there. Get it pocketed in. So I spread that out a little bit better. And again, we're going to feed it on. Not super fast, but faster than super slow. And let's see where it gets us. See this, like, the chunks. Sometimes this chunkiness is the part that drives me nuts. And it's not a huge deal, but when it comes to spinning, like, I want the experience to be kind of cohesive and look kind of semi-cohesive. This is definitely looking better. So there's a little chunk. But there's definitely a bit there that's kind of chunky. But we're getting there. We're definitely getting better dispersed possum here. It's getting nicely dispersed throughout. Alright, we're going to open this up again. Next one. You can see the coloring throughout, but it's definitely getting more blended. Split the next section in half. Having a lot of fun with this possum. It was intimidating. Don't get me wrong. And obviously I'm not done with it yet. But I'm kind of in a weird way enjoying it. It looks interesting. It has really interesting visual appeal. And to say I have yarn that has possum in it, that I hand spun and carded, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Very unique. All right, last piece. We're going to get that opened up. And I'll feed it right onto that Carter behind that one. Okay, here we go. Last one. Alright, that little chunk wants to stay together a little bit. There we go. Whew, I think I'm going to do another pass after this. It's like the never-ending passes. There's a chunk over here, Possum. Where is it? There it is. It's going to grab it off of there because I want it to be a little bit more blended. I'm going to compact that. Through here, if there's any pieces that I can get up. I'm really just going after like the chunks if I can. That's a nice little chunk of it right there. I know one thing that I really appreciate about this Great Guts adventure is, for the most part, obviously you can see I'm trying to like scavenge, but it's helping me learn, like, don't be so darn precious. Like, there's always more of these things out there. Like, you can get more, but I do always feel the need to try to scavenge as much as I can. All right. So as I'm doing this and I'm using my finger like that, you can see I'm scraping the dickens out of it. I'm not kind to my hands. All right, we're going to get this further. There we go. Change our direction. Let's take this off. So what was that? 2 passes? Was that 2? Yeah, that was 2. So we have 1 more, and even possibly 1 more after that. We'll see. That was 2. This will be our. This is the second pass. This definitely didn't get blended very well. That further. Why not? A little bit of Possum here. And alright. Beautiful. So there is second pass. It's one. I constantly feel like I'm like, does it look better than the other? I don't know. I feel like this looks a lot like the second pass or the first pass. Let's do another. That might either the second or the third pass. Let's do a fourth or third, whatever this. This is. We're just gonna keep going. I feel like someone mentioned. Well, because I think it was. I don't know. Because I feel like she had done this before to somebody. And I thought that she had mentioned that people kept saying you had to keep blending and blending and blending to get the Possum in there. But I could be misremembering. I don't know. If anybody's familiar with Melissa's advents or things of that nature, or like her clubs, has there been something with Possum where like people had to card it at home? Because I feel like this is one of those that you just have to constantly keep blending, and then eventually it kind of sort of gets there. Kind of, sort of, maybe. I hope so. I hope this video is not going to be insanely long, but it might be semi-entertaining because it's like, my gosh, you went through that how many passes and it still doesn't look blended? so next chunk. I mean, it's really getting nice and fluffy now. I noticed that right away. Looking up close on this bat, it's just super fluffy. Now, what I really should be doing is changing the orientation. I usually flip it. Every time I do a pass, I flip it and then feed it through. I just feel like you get a better blend by doing that. I don't know if that's true or not. I just feel like it tends to blend better when you're changing the orientation. So I did flip this one. Changing it up. Whether that's going to make a big difference or not, we will see. But I forgot to do it on those last two. But this one is definitely flipped. So we'll see how that goes. Got a few little like bits in here. And a lot of those little bits you can take out as you're spinning too. Just, choose your adventure, what you're okay doing, handling. Alright, so this is our third, possibly fourth pass. I'm looking at this and I'm going, I feel like it still needs to go through again. Like the never-ending bat. You guys remember that movie, The Never-Ending Story? Does anybody else grow up watching that? The Never-Ending Bat. Just constantly having to blend it. Oh boy. We're almost there, I think. We've got to be getting there. We've got to be getting close. I feel like it's getting there, but so lots of possum that's on here. You can see lots of possum on there, but there's quite a bit in here as well. All right, we're gonna slow that down, get it to that point where we can take it off. And let's see. Here it looks pretty nice and distributed. Like in the open area where you take it off, that actually looks pretty good. But the further you get, it's looking pretty good, guys. I mean, sure. Does it have areas where it's kind of possum oriented and not so much Tunis? Yes. But is it getting pretty distributed? It's getting there. And I still want to go through one more time, but I feel like this will be the last time because it's really looking nice. See how it's coming off decently. It's mostly cohesive at this point. Feeling better about it. This is feeling pretty good. Okay. So that is after a fourth pass. I think that was the fourth pass. That is looking really decent. So I think I'm going to do it this last time. This is probably a fifth time. And I think we're going to call it. I think this will be our last pass because it's looking pretty good. Pretty cohesive. Minor separation of color pooling or anything like that. So it's looking really pretty darn cohesive. I'm impressed. Okay. Let's feed it through one more time. I'll be working on a project while you're listening to me blabble on like this because who knows how long this is going to be. And all right. All right, after this, we'll do the last piece. One more piece. Like, well, let me take that back. Maybe this is 2 more pieces. It's 2 more pieces because I haven't divided this in half yet. Just got so excited. If you hear like a ripping sound, it's because the microphone is right next to the fiber. So I'm not ripping the fiber, but it does sound like that a little bit. One more section. And then we're done. This is it. I'm calling it. I think it'll be great. I'm feeling really good about it. I have to call it. I have to. So just, I'll go on and on and on. And I just gotta call it. Even though I saw that little chunk of possum right there. Okay, there's a little chunk, and that's literally a chunk. That's not going to get blended. There's no way that's getting blended. Now, if I get anything like that, I really can just edit that as I'm spinning. And that's what I'm going to do, because I know I see like 1 or 2 other little bits like that, where it might have been a little bit of the possum that was like either felted, because it's so darn downy, or it was just like gunk in there, and so it won't come apart, which is not a big deal. Okay, guys, I'm good about this. I'm feeling good about this. Like, I feel like there should be a drum roll. The final pass. All right, this is the final pass. We are going to take it off and see the final reveal here. Oh, it's really good. Looks really good. I am highly impressed because I didn't know what to expect, and I don't know why I doubted. I don't know why I doubted this would not be okay. But, because Melissa knows her stuff. You know, she's been doing this a while. She knows her stuff. And I was like, possum. I felt like it was just going to be a big texture bat. And I don't know. And after that first pass, I mean, that's horrific. And most of those unique fibers like that are teeny tiny bits or down or things like that, that first pass is always a little scary and sketchy looking. It kind of, it's just bad. You know, that first pass is just never good. It's never good. But now that I think we did 5 passes. I think it was 5. Could have been 6. I do question my counting on that. I was just so overwhelmed by it. I lost count, but I want to say it was at least 5 passes, possibly 6. Okay, guys, here we are. So that is 5 passes. I'm not going to put that through anymore. It's pretty blended. There's a little bit of the possum here on the top, and I could keep trying to blend that in, but I think what I'm going to do is just spin it as is. If it has a little bit of texture, that's kind of cool. It's unique. This is 5 passes. I feel like if I put it through again, I don't know if it's really going to change too much more. I think we're there. I think we're there. So this is the underside, and then here is, or this is the underside, and I mean, look how that is. That's really nice. It has kind of this warm hue to it, which really complements the Tunis, because Tunis is kind of that reddish blonde color, and I mean, it complements it really well. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is day 9 of the Great Guts Adventure by MellyKnits with our Tunis and possum, 5 grams of possum blend. Yeah, a lot of blending, but really, really cool. So I'm excited to work with that. So I hope you guys will join me for the next episode, which will be day 10, and we'll see what that adventure awaits us. And until then, take care.